Hello, everyone. Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum for Thursday, April 7th, 2022. We'll be back in a minute with some news, views, and reviews of comic books. Stick around, won't you? I know we will.
10 seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Get ready to explore the world of comics, past, present, and future, with our panelists Eric Hawkins, Brian Rodman, and Clyde Hall. And now here's your host, Brian K. Morris.
And good evening, everyone. How the heck are you? Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum, and we hope you are ready for some fun. I know we are. We've got about 80% of the Fab Five here, and we're looking forward to talking to you tonight. So please leave your comments, and if you're watching us on the rerun, we love you too. But be sure to leave us a comment, and we'll try to get back to you on it. But we want to give some thank yous. This episode is brought to you by Rising Tide Publications, just because, and also by Plasma Fire Graphics. And the look of your book matters to you. A great book deserves a great cover, and if you've written a great book, then you deserve the services of Plasma Fire Graphics. Check out their Facebook page, then bop on over to plasmafiregraphics.com, where you can see more printed examples of their work. This is stuff that's actually been published, all right? It's not just a wish list. Anyway, get your wish list ready and contact Jeffrey Hayes, the owner, about his great indie creator-friendly pricing and all the services he can provide for you. That's Plasma Fire Graphics. Plus, it definitely matters to your readers. We are part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Rising Tide raises all ships, and we've got 7 days a week of entertainment and illumination for your wonderful ears and eyes. So later tonight, following this show, bop on over to Stupid O'Clock at 9 p.m. Eastern, where Joe Dog McKeel and friends are going to talk geeky for a couple of hours, followed by Last Man Standing with Dan Hollifield, where the fun continues into the late hours. And don't forget, tomorrow morning on Nevermind the Furthermore at 10 a.m., special guest host Carl Witzman. So it's going to be a really good show. And more entertainment during the evening. So with the Drinking with the Davies and the Historical Fencing Guild, and more all weekend long. So please check out our broadcast network page on Facebook and give it a like. And also thank you to our Patreon supporters who get stuff from me in return for their ongoing support, and we definitely appreciate these guys and gals. And if you want to find out what we offer you, go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris and help support the Rising Tide mission. And with that, we are done with the thank yous, and let's bring these wonderful people that we have here tonight here. And we have, oh my God, Brian's turned into a werecat. Holy.
Hello. Oh. Mow, 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 mow. Those were all cuss words, I promise.
Yes, I kind of figured that.
Yeah, she was looking at me, I figured. So anyway, we are joined by Zombie Slayer Eric Hawkins, who we'll be talking about tonight in the most glowing of terms, because he's, that's right, number 4 is on its way, and you crave it, you need it, you want it. And we also have Brian Rodman, who's got his Kickstarter coming up soon, and Jody McFee, not to be left out. I'm the only one here who won't have a Kickstarter coming up, but I'll be helping all 3 of these guys with theirs.
Slacker!
I know. I'm just cruising off of you guys. That's all there is to it. I'm using you
You know, it was 3 years ago today. I launched number 1.
Was it really? How cool.
Yep, I got the notification from Facebook.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. And how many books do not make it past issue 1 in indie comics?
Oh,
and yet
some don't even make it to issue 1.
Well,
some issue 1s get funded, but no one ever sees them.
That's true. That's true. How many millions of dollars are out there?
I've got some money invested in a couple of those.
I do too, unfortunately.
Yeah, same here.
I do too.
Well, I hope they use the money to buy themselves something nice.
Yeah.
Yes,
some nice, edible underwear or something.
I hope that whatever they buy, it gives them a rash. But anyway, until I get my damn books. But anyway, these 3 guys have all kinds of projects coming up, and I'm really excited. And Eric is going to be, his is tomorrow. And of course, Eric is not the least bit nervous about it.
Not at all. He's a pro.
That's right.
No. The past
Pros
2 days have been very nervous.
Yeah. How many levels do you have on that now, Eric?
What did I say? 15?
18.
18.
But okay, there are like at least 4 of them.
Yes.
That there's only one thing available because it's original art. So those hopefully will go quickly. And then there is one that's only available for the first 24 hours of the campaign.
And then I get it. Anyway, so Eric's like, what? So anyway,
I don't see that in the options here. Hold on.
It was in the fine. It was on the fine print of the contract, Eric. You just missed it.
Yeah, just right next to the part about your immortal soul. So anyway,
plus. In a few months, I won't be wearing this beanie anymore. I'll be wearing one of my beanies.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
Now,
so will I.
Are they extra size too, like Brian's?
Same distributor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I may have to have 2 stocking caps this year, so
or 3. There's a nebulizer one too.
That I'm planning on getting that level.
See, I need to get one of those for myself. I got one for the last campaign, but I gave it to my granddaughter.
Oh, you got to get another one. Well,
So
don't worry, because in 2 weeks you'll have a chance.
Yay! Hooray!
I'm waiting for the nebulizer, one piece you can get, like at Halloween and Christmas
onesie.
Time. The onesie you can get at Walmart now. That's why I went with the hood and everything.
It'll have the open butt flap. It'll be great. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm liking this.
Easy access. There we go.
Have we seen the back of the nebulizer? I'm going to go look at that.
We have. We have. I actually
Was
do.
there 2 buttons?
I would know, but I do answer. I do allude to the question of how he goes to the bathroom in this next issue.
Ooh.
Stay tuned for issue 3. I'm drowning. Anyway,
issue 3. Does that smell like piss to you?
Well, it's actually I won't say the line, but it's a sick burn from Albie.
Ooh. Yeah. He's my favorite. Anyway, of course he would be.
What joke could Brian Rodman tell that only he could tell as the voice of Albie?
Well, actually, Brian Rodman is not the voice of Albie.
Actually, he is. No, you're not?
No.
I'm serious.
Morgan Freeman is.
That's right. Freeman was busy, so Brian settled for me. Anyway, but no. Brian has informed me that when the audio adventure comes up, I am the voice of Albie.
Yep.
And ever since he told me that, every time I read the nebulizer, and I've read it more than once, more than 10 times even, I keep hearing my voice in that thing. So
I really have a few moments where your inflection shines through in issue 2, and a couple moments. So it'll be fun.
That means Albie's going to be swearing a lot in issue 2. Anyway.
No, it's still kid friendly. But
what did you just do in the suit? My servos are burning.
I thought this was updating the nebulizer program. Why am I getting Pornhub so vividly here? But anyway, I think what we need to do to get out of this is go around the room. And Clyde Hall cannot be here tonight. He's involved in a secret government project to create a super soldier, and apparently he is the test subject. But anyway, we hope you're having a good time, Clyde, and he will return next week. We hope. if the Vita Rays don't get him first. But anyway,
So Ted, lay in with those burns now, man.
Yeah, man, get them in while they're hot.
that's right, my God. But you got the other four of us, so you never know, one of us may strike in Clyde's in the name of Clyde. So anyway, let's go around the room. We'll start with Eric, then Joe, then Brian, and then me, and then we'll launch into the comments. And it almost sounds like I've got this plan. So Eric, you want to start us off here?
Sure. I am Eric Scott Hawkins. I'm the creator of the Zobble World of Oz, issues 1 through 3, and 4 coming soon. I am, the penciler, the inker, colorist, letterer, and writer. But I am also mostly a digital artist, and I'm going to complain here for a second.
Go for it.
Because there's a lot of shade thrown at digital artists. Now, issue 1, most people cannot tell this was a hybrid book. Most of it was drawn traditionally and inked digitally, and some pages both. Nobody noticed the difference between issues 1, 2, and 3. So, but being a digital artist, we are actually artists too. And some people don't think so. They think because you do digitally, you're not an artist. But
They're wrong.
It's cost effective to be a digital artist when you're doing comic books.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Bristol board is expensive. Ink is expensive, and just to prove I am a traditional artist, here's a Khonshu I drew just today.
So good.
Ooh,
So good.
nice.
So I can draw both ways, and most digital artists can. So just because something's digital, don't think it's bad. And back the Zobble World of Oz tomorrow at 9 a.m.
That's right. That's going to go hot tomorrow, and get your copies while you can. And like Eric said, some tiers are going to be one of a kind, so you definitely want to get those before somebody who's not as worthy seizes them. Right, Eric?
Correct.
There we go. All right. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
All right, and here's Joe D. McFee. Joe, introduce yourself, please.
I don't know. I want to kind of expound on what Eric was saying here. There's a difference between being an artist and an artiste. Artiste, to me, they go overboard, and that's not the best thing to follow. If you're going to be an artist, just do the craft and do it to the best of your ability. That's all that matters at that point. But as an artiste, it is just whatever your mindset is, just that's on you. It's just like that craziness is on you. But let me introduce myself. I am Joe.
The main difference is a beret.
In most cases, that is correct.
Thank God it isn't a fez.
Yes. I am
Starting to
Joe
feel targeted.
I am the president of CGC Studios and host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. I am also the creator of series like AWF Primetime Saturday Night, as well as the original AWF series, and for the upcoming Amazonia number 7 series, where I have 2 versions of the issue number 1, the 10th anniversary and 5th anniversary in hand here. And if you notice that my head was down, the reason my head was down is because I've been doing actual sketches here, getting myself prepared for our launch in May. So be prepared. Actually sign up right now, because we're doing a whole month of trying to get people aware that we're going to launch in May. And our goal is to get at least close to 200 followers before we launch. So if we could do that, we should be able to hit our goal pretty rapidly, and we could get to some of the good stuff that's there in the actual campaign here. And when I say some of the good stuff, we're talking about freebies like free variants. So that's pretty much what I do, and I'm here to review comic books tonight. And at this point, let me pass it off to my good friend Brian Rodman, where he can introduce himself.
Hello. How are you? I'm doing well.
Where's
My
your
name's
beret?
Brian Well, here I will. Since this is the thing to do right now, I will say this and this only. If you think that being an artist is limited to pencil, paper, You don't know. You don't understand what art is. So I will say this: you can go to brianrodman.com and there find Memoirs of an Angel, issues 1 through 7, soon to be issues 1 through 8 next month, because this month we're fulfilling issue 8. Should be getting the prints in tomorrow.
Woo-hoo.
Fingers crossed, hopefully.
Yay.
And we will begin shipping out next week. And it's going to be great. And I'm excited about that. And I'm really excited to hear what people think about this issue, because I poured a lot of my heart and soul into this one. But
Crap, do I got Beanie coming with that one too?
I don't know. Do you? I'll have to check.
I'm gonna have to check.
I'll have to look. Because thankfully I have a wonderful wife and business partner who, once I am done with sending to the printer and all that jazz, I hand it off to her and she's in charge of fulfillment. So I'll have to ask her what you chose. However, in 2 weeks, issue 2 of the Nebulizer is going to launch on Kickstarter, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's a lot of action. There's going to be so much monster guts. It's going to be insane. It's going to be funny. There's going to be a lot of humor in this one, as there was in this one. And we're going to have another little flashback scene that kind of starts telling the story of how we got to where we are, where everything is allergen-induced and mutated. To join that party, head right here, go to the pre-launch page. Right now, we're closing in on 30 subscribers, 30 followers.
Nice.
Let's get as many as we possibly can before we launch, so that way we can just bombard Kickstarter with our goodness. And that's all I got. I'm very excited to review the book I have tonight. So
cool.
I've been looking to review this one for a long time.
Nice. All right.
For
Thank
people
you.
who don't know, Nebulizer 2, it ain't easy being sneezy.
It ain't easy being sneezy. It ain't easy being wheezy, and the asthma attack is back, Jack. That's all I got to say.
I love it. I totally love it. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'm the lesser light of this quartet. I'm Ringo to everybody's John Paul George. I am Brian K. Morris, author, independent publisher, freelance writer, editor, award-winning playwright, Facebook famous YouTuber, and former mortician's assistant. And also, we're going to be in Hannibal, Missouri tomorrow for Big River Comic Con with these wonderful books here. Buy all 3. We're going to knock something off the price. And also the Pulp Factory nominated Snow Shorts #2, which I'm excited about. And I will be attending Windy City Pulp and Paper in the hopes that we maybe snag an award or two. That I've got a lack of participation trophy, and that's all I've got. It would look really good on my shelving that I haven't built yet to have a real award. So anyway, we do that. We do broadcasting. Never mind the furthermore. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Except tomorrow it's going to be Carl Witzman as our host, and I write a lot of books, and I show up here and seriously look forward to hanging with these wonderful guys here. And
I think Carl's got a special co-host tomorrow.
oh, does he have the charming and delightful Donna Carly Carlene, perhaps?
I think it's his cat.
Oh, his cat. Oh, then the cat is running the show, and Carl is the co-host.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the way it works. So. As a dog owner, Eric, you wouldn't know about this, and I've seen enough.
Well, I've had cats.
Oh,
Cats
okay.
are
Eric's like,
Cats
I've
are
had
jerks.
cats. Eric's like, I've had cats and I've sacrificed them. It's been great. Cats are jerks, and that's why I love them. That's my favorite part about cats. Except Beasley, I don't understand. She's not a jerk. She's the sweetest animal I have ever come across. Luna will
To
kill
everybody
you with
or
a,
just you?
to everybody.
Really?
Everybody that walks through our door, she loves them. She'll jump.
That
She'll
is
jump on their
strange.
shoulders. She'll
That is
snuggle
really
with them.
strange.
She loves everybody. Now Luna hates everybody, so it's a nice balance. Luna wants to kill Beasley with a fiery passion. So
Nice.
Luna may kill you if you ever come over to my house.
I look forward to the challenge. There we
Just
go. So let's tackle the comments here. And there's the host with the most for tomorrow morning. Release the Kraken rum, that is. Yes, that is Carl Witzman with the drink du jour. And dang, I was here first, and I'll let you get by me, says Donna Carlene. Carlene, glad to see you here. Mwah, check out their books on lulu.com. And zoom, says Carl Witzman. And see, I told you. And Ted Davies Archer, good evening. Heroes, good evening to you, Ted. We have a Clyde-free zone tonight. So you better take advantage of it. However, we will write everything down, and he'll just take like a 2-hour segment of next week's show and tear you down to the DNA. But anyway, everyone's saying hello to each other, and him, says Carl. And hey, you guys. And Nick Tockert is here. Hello, good to see you. Just who, pray tell, is depicted as Tom Servo with a herringbone tam? That was Clyde's doing. So I have no idea. I just post them. And also, was that supposed to be Clyde? Hey guys, hey Nick, how you doing? Check out the Historical Fencing Guild Friday night on YouTube, and please sign up for that. And Luna! Luna! And by the way, BCAM needs to pin the show scheduled on the Rising Tide Facebook page. You are absolutely right. I will do that when I get back from Big River, let me do this correctly.
Big River Comic-Con.
Big River Comic-Con in Hannibal,
Right.
Missouri, starting at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, Friday, and going all day Sunday till about 5 o'clock or so. Please come see us. We have book specials, and Cookie will be there. But unfortunately, due to the weather, and we're not going to sleep in a van that will be below freezing, we are not going to be bringing Calgon, unfortunately.
But who else will be there?
Amy Hale will be there.
Oh,
Well, that's great too. But they have a guest. They have a
Yes.
guest that I wouldn't have mind seeing. Because he's been in a lot of movies I love.
And who would that be, Eric?
Michael Biehn.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of
You know,
fun.
from
And there's-
Terminator, from Aliens,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff. Oh, Mandalorian last season.
Oh, there you go. Well, but there's only one star really that I'm really concerned with.
Oh, yeah, you'll
Being-
probably have some of my books there, too. That's right.
There's one star. Anyway, we might. Anyway, and wear your merch, says Nick Tockert.
Yeah, Brian's merch, huh?
Yeah, we're
I
on.
have. I don't have my merch on.
I don't have mine on.
I got
Or
nothing.
at least I can't show you. Anyway, that got everybody looking.
He's got his thong on.
I do. It's these.
Good.
It's one. It's one of the scratch and sniff feature. But anyway, there's Comics Talk with Pops Van Zandt. Pops, good to see you, my friend. Check out CromCon the last weekend of every month. He is awesome. And evening, ladies and gentlemen, the Ninja Genko is always a pleasure and honor to have you here, as it is the charming and delightful Lissy. Hello to you, sweetheart. Mwah. And everyone's saying hello. And the equally charming and delightful Jennifer Hawkins. Hello, all. Please check out his Kickstarter so her weekend is good. I can just
Otherwise, Daddy get cranky.
So if you want the queen of the house to have a peaceful weekend, make sure the king is appeased. So anyway, I said king. Anyway, it's like, Ryan, have you never been married? What is this? Anyway, Ted Davies Artistry says, Eric, that's a great drawing.
$100, that's yours, Ted.
There you go. And you see, and then
Oh,
Ted,
it's only 11 by 14, though. It's not 11 by 17, but yeah.
well, here's the thing. Then he can lord it over Ryan Permison.
Ooh.
Yes, you'll have a Khonshu.
And
I
Ryan
can put it in
won't.
plastic, and he could say it's graded.
There you go. There you go. And Donna Carlene says hello. And Nick Tockert says digital artists are real artists gifted with an undo button.
Right.
That, yeah, there is a lot to love. I used to have that little thing about digital, but that was back in the day.
I don't have that. I have the Control Z.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like if I had genuine artistic talent as far as visual arts, I would definitely go digital. But it's simpler, easier to to make work and to correct any possible errors. So anyway, that's just me. And what time are you launching, Eric? Asks
9 a.m. Central Standard Time, the only time.
That's right, next to Eastern. Anyway, now are you going to have a live broadcast, Eric, or are you going to be somewhere?
I don't know.
If you make nice with Carl, and you never know.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
Eric will be my guest on Never Mind the Furthermore. Yes.
Oh!
See, Eric, aren't you glad I suggested that now? See, the
Yeah,
gods
that's
have listened.
wonderful, Brian. It
I
came
knew
into
you'd be-
fruition within seconds.
I know. See, I get things done around here. My name opens doors.
He speaks, and it happens.
That's right. Brian's word is law, but it's Rodman's, not mine.
We're
Anyway,
looking for the highest ratings ever on Never Mind the Furthermore.
you got to do better than that regular schlub that's on there. That's for sure. Anyway, really, Carl. Oh yeah, Nick, we're making it like a launch party. Excellent and cool, Carl. Let's get him funded in 15 minutes. Why are we waiting that long?
Let's get him funded in 15 seconds.
I will
Yeah.
take 15 minutes. I will take anything under 37 minutes, to be honest with you.
Last time was the longest 37 minutes of his life.
Probably. Now, how long did it take you? It took you 37 minutes last time, didn't it, for number 3?
Yeah.
I think we can push this and definitely get him below 37 minutes.
Issue 1 was like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Or no, I was 3 days. Issue 2 was like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, right in between there. Then issue 3, which I had the most worries about because it's right in the middle of the pandemic, was 37 minutes.
Right. So everybody, when Eric has posted stuff about, please share it on your pages. All right, as a personal favor. All right, and let's let everyone know about this incredible book that's coming out. All right, and so that not just Eric can sleep happy tomorrow night, but Jennifer. I'm telling you, it's going to be a rough 24 hours for that gal. And anyway, groovy, says Nick. Yes, indeed. And I'll try to watch that tomorrow then. Excellent. And the Zombieful World of Oz launches at 9 a.m. Central Time, April 8th, 1922. That's tomorrow. And Nick Tucker, she wore a raspberry beret, the kind they sell at the 5 and Dime store. I thought it said raspberry sorbet. But anyway, hi, Jennifer from Donna. And digital or traditional?
And if you ask, you wouldn't wear much more.
Exactly. That's the part I keep getting stuck on. Anyway, digital or traditional, says Ted Davies Artistry. We are all artists. Create, just create. Exactly.
Indeed.
And Robin is making me look bad, says Jennifer.
No.
But if you want to fulfill, maybe it's all you can do.
Hey, look, we don't have kids or grandkids, so that's huge. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? So,
Yes. And
Well, having kids and grandkids should make the fulfillment go quicker because I just line them
put
up with
them
assembly
to work, man. What are you doing?
I mean, our forefathers built this country on the backs of child labor. Martha Stewart wouldn't be where she is if it weren't for child labor. You've got a gold mine here, Eric. I'm telling you.
Yes. Change the subject quickly.
Yes, quickly. And here to save us all is Cindy Kemp. Howdy, Pilgrim. Howdy, Cindy. Mwah, CKOEPP.com. Check out that website and definitely sign up for that great newsletter. And Ringo was the only one to be shrunken down for a children's program. Don't think badly about Ringo. I have infinite respect for Ringo. Ringo was recruited. Remember, they had Pete Best, and the other 3 heard Ringo, and they said, this is the guy we need. And so when Pete washed out on their first recording with George Martin, he said, well, do you know somebody that could do this? And they all said, we got just the guy. So they took him from Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. So there. Anyway, and hell no, it ain't me, says Donna. And there is no Rodman, only Luna.
I'm actually just a meat puppet. That's all it is. She's mind controlling me with a device.
That's true. She's treating him like a muppet. We're not going to say where she's got her paw. Anyway, Jeff Hawkins, we have a dog that is a jerk.
Chewbacca is a jerk.
And we hear that dog every now and then on this show. It's like maybe one of these times you need to hold the dog in your lap like Brian does Luna.
He would sit here and lick my face nonstop.
Oh, he's not a jerk. He's a good boy.
If you try to pet Belle, he comes running up, shoves her, puts his head under your hand, shoves her out of the way.
That's awesome.
I'm the number one.
You've done absolutely nothing to dissuade us
If you're
from
not
wanting
doing
this.
what he wants when he wants it, he'll sit there and just nose you.
That's what I do.
You sit there and, what are you doing?
doing a Roxbury.
Yeah.
What is love?
Oh my God, Teresa Dunn is checking in. Good evening, guys. Teresa, mwah. Happy evening to you. Hope you're doing well. And Nicholas Tucker, I still like to do my line work traditionally, but love digital coloring. That works out too. Lissy says, hopefully I get on in time for an early bird special. I always miss it.
The early birds are usually limited to 10, but they've been expanded to 20. Sure.
Excellent. And don't forget that Eric still has like till morning. There we go.
There he is.
Let the
man
love-
of
Oh,
the
you're not going
hour.
to do it now. You're not.
It's like I am frozen in front of the camera.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
look at
Oh,
the
hold on a second.
love.
Hold on.
Look at him.
Hey,
Oh.
look at
Oh,
you.
wait.
Look at you. That's you.
Come here.
Look,
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 come here.
look. That's my
Ooh.
wire. All right.
Is you
Luna.
cute doggy?
Look.
Is you cute doggy?
Oh.
Yeah, and oh, and Lissy says your grandkids are too ADHD to be put to work.
Yeah, they'd end up with bags and boards and no books.
Oh dear. And evening from Sarah. Mwah! Hope you are doing well this evening. Good to see you as always, Sarah. And Carl Wisman says there can be only one. That's true. And or like Highlander, there should have been only one. And Donna Carlene says hello, Sarah. And oh my God, I love you guys. We love you too.
Mhm.
It's true. And everyone's saying hello, and puppy. I can't wait till I can have one. There you go. And with that, we are caught up with the comments. Yay! And I just realized without Clyde here, I don't know that we've got anything to build up to.
Well, I'm not going last. I'll go first.
I'll
But
go
after
last.
Joe gives his options.
Yeah, I'll go last.
Yes.
I can
Okay.
go last.
Okay. Joe is Clyde this week. He is the
So,
gold standard.
We have narrowed it down to 3 because the 4th one I already told the other people. I got issue number 2 of this. So if I do this, I'm going to do the full series, issues 1 and 2. So this is off the table for this week. So for viewing, if on this week's comic book phone, we have, if you want to learn more about Lady Mechanica and the Monster Ministry of Hell, number 3, press 1. If you want to know more about Carriers, number 3, press 2. If you want to know more about Ant, number 3, featuring Spawn, press 3. Please choose now.
There you go. Operators are standing by. I don't know what they're doing. They're just sitting around drinking coffee. But anyway, cast your vote right now. And let's see. Sarah says, went to an antique shop, found a bedpan. What the hell?
Hey, man, sometimes when you got to go, you got to go. You know?
That's right. Yeah, I think I speak for many people around here that those things come in handier than we'd like. So
Hey,
anyway,
I just got some good news.
What?
My last backer for issue 3 finally got their book in Australia.
Hey!
Oh, cool.
Just in time to cut
Yay.
the next one.
Well, see, there was an issue here.
Okay.
Since it takes so long to get to Australia, when they finally did get the package, it got switched at the sorting facility with a packet of seeds.
Oh, no.
Then I sent out another one that just disappeared.
Oh, my gosh.
Gosh.
Third time was the charm.
All right. Man.
Yes, I do ship international. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was gonna say, poor guy, poor man, poor person having to wait and hear the rest of the world talking about this great issue and them feeling inadequate. And we have the one, the only Frog G here. Good evening, Frog G. Hail to you, my friend. And whoa, you are no longer caught up on comments. Thanks, Frog. Appreciate you. And hail Frog from Sarah. And 2 is for the birds. And 1. Okay, we've got a 2, Joe, you keeping track?
Yep,
We have
I
the
got
two.
already kept. Yep, I got kept every track. I
Frog.
already got those. I got
And
Frog, got Carl, and I got Cindy. We need everybody else.
And
Well,
Sarah's
after-
tapping her veins for comics, and yay! And congratulations, Australians are cool to talk to.
Yep, we have no Sarah, no Donna, no Ted as of yet that voted.
Right.
There's a lot of people who haven't voted yet.
Well, they got time. And thanks for the saints, though, mate. Says Carl, and Donna votes for number 2. Yeah.
Apparently, the seeds were supposed to go to Canada somewhere, which is even stranger. I mean, they got switched with labels going to totally 2 different countries.
Hey, so somebody
whoever
in
got my
Canada
books
got
in
your
Canada.
books. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, they were out there in the field with a shovel going, what the hell? This thing's, I buried it 3 times. This comic book.
Yep,
sucks."
Mountie rode
Really?
up on his moose with his
Like,
Tim Hortons. I have a book for you, eh?
There you go.
This is one big seed here, eh? All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's all do some boot.
Yeah. Maybe I plant this and it become a library, eh?
Oh, somebody called Chad. He's Canadian.
Okay. What are we going to call him? Hey,
Oh,
Canadian.
Oh,
So,
I have words that I can call him.
I'm sure you have, and I've got my finger on the mute button right now, and the F bomb is ready to fly.
You know,
Anyway.
I'll even call Chad an artist, even though all he draws is circles right now.
Oh,
Chad is the artiste.
Yes.
I think we
Yes.
found him.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, why did and 1 week the Dastardly Dingoes Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Always always promote your friends.
And this week we had someone else on the show.
That's true.
With us.
2 weeks in a
It was a good
row.
show. It was a
I
good show.
know. We talked about Moon Knight. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I
imagine my
think-
surprise.
From seeing Chad's art, I think he's planning crop circles.
Yeah.
Totally.
The recent
Totally.
post, I think there's going to be a huge boom in crop circles this year.
Let's
Now we
hope
know
so.
who to blame. So you're saying he's an alien? Okay, just making
Probably. Yeah.
sure. Okay, that makes sense.
I will say this: out of every person that I know,
Yes.
if every out of everyone that I know, Chad would be the one that would not surprise me at all if he was an alien.
Mm-hmm. Well, just be careful. If he shows up next week wearing a beret and offering to do an anal probe on you, you'll know.
Oh, we've already done that. It's been great.
Oh, you okay? All right, good.
Got
They all
it.
had a
Yes!
They all had a beret.
For
They all
just a brief moment. Brian K. Morris was speechless. I can die now. This is
Yeah.
great.
Well, the thing was, I'm like, okay, I've got to reply. No, I better not. I've got a second reply. Well, maybe not that one either. I was up to about 45 by the time I actually thought, well, maybe
You just saw buffering.
yeah.
Buffering.
That's it.
This was the first time that rated M for mature failed. Brian K. Moore.
That's true. I dropped this. That was the problem. So anyway. Wow. Anyway, hope you all mark it down in your calendars. And Lizzie says number 2. And Nick
got
Cochran
her.
says, so I hope Joe has a 10-page academic summary of his work to replace Clyde. And we have Christy Selmer. Hello, Christy. Wow, glad to see you here. She's voting for number 2
Got her
also.
already. Yep.
Excellent. And now the Canadians have tuned out, says Carl Witzman. And Sarah says, who does number 2 work for? Austin Powers. And drawing a perfect circle is hard without a plate, says Cindy
Yeah.
Kip. That's true. Very, very true. So
Eggs are easy, though.
That's true. Oh, so who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, let's
okay.
let Eric go first.
Whatever.
Yeah. Then we'll have a race the next time.
Let's
I'll
take
win,
off
but-
my glove here.
Ooh,
You don't have a skeleton hand glove, though.
I got one inside my hand.
That's true. I have 2 then.
That reminds me of another joke that I'm buffering on now too. But anyway, that one would get us off the air. That's true. So anyway, let's start. Yeah, he said get us off. Anyway, the Zombie Slayer, moving up from Pro Slayer, the Eric Hawkins is prepared Eric, what have you got for us this week?
Well, I did buy a few books, but I only had a chance to read one of them, and of course, it's one Brian read too. So we'll have dueling reviews on it. But I did pick up,
and I'm not Ronnie.
I picked up the second issue of Little Monsters. I haven't read that. I'm looking forward to that one. Moon Knight, of course. But you guys always hear me talk about Moon Knight, so you're probably sick of that.
Why don't you review a Superman comic? They love that.
There's plenty of them at the shop. They're always there. But I'll tell you what. I picked this up over the weekend. And I thumbed through it and read a little bit, but I didn't read the whole thing. But I never noticed how this guy's art really emulates Adam Kupert's art. Very similar. Oh. And that would be Sean Gordon Murphy. And I did pick up Batman Beyond White Knight.
Okay.
Oh,
I like
it. It just looked cool, so I thought I'd pick it up. And what I read was pretty interesting. I didn't read the whole thing though. But what I did read, and because it jumped out at me at the shop, I knew it was coming out, and I almost missed it. Because it harkens back to my early days of collecting comic books. It was The Rocketeer, by IDW.
Yes,
The Great Race. Which I'll say one thing right away. The art is very good in this book, but when you think Rocketeer, you think Dave Stevens. It is not Dave Stevens' art, of course, but he's no longer with us. But as far as story-wise, the story is very nice. It's set in Brian. Is it the 40s or 30s? Because it really doesn't tell you what year. I'm going to assume it's the 40s.
I thought it was the 30s, no, it could be the 40s. I would have to look because
is World War II happening?
Well, there's Nazis in it, but it doesn't tell you if the war is happening. It just there's Nazis.
Yeah, let's go with 40s. Let's go with 40s.
Okay,
that
we'll
sounds
go with 40s.
Right.
But of course, you got Cliff with his cool little Rocket Man outfit, and not Elton John, but
Rocket Man.
He is listening to at the beginning. He's listening to a radio broadcast news broadcast about rumors of Nazis, in the United States practicing their little war games, trying to train. So he decides just to go take off and fight out if they're really there. And you get some great imagery. I mean, these.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I opened these. I was like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And the art is really good, but you still expect Dave's art. And he finds the Nazis real quick, gets in a fight with them, and that's where the only issue. Well, yeah. Besides the art, I mean, the issue right there is, he gets attacked, flying away, gets his rocket shot out, and he's fallen, and he's getting the flashes of his life before him, and you don't know what happened. Was it a dream? But I don't think it's a dream because he talks about the Nazis later in the book. But the next thing you know, he's in bed with Betty. Which this
be a dream.
These two pages are probably the closest the artist got to trying to emulate Dave's style, especially in Betty's eyes. I saw it right there. Yeah, but the art is great. It like I said, it's set in the 40s. Probably there is Nazis in it, so it's somewhere in that time era. But Cliff here decides, Betty needs a better life than him running off and being a rocketeer all the time. So he's going to try to find a real job and stuff. But that's when a millionaire, probably not a billionaire. I don't know if we had billionaires back then yet, offers him to race his plane, which is this pretty cool looking plane, in the Great Race, of course. And he's going to pay him a bunch of money. He's not sure if he's going to take the job or not, but he ends up deciding he'll take the job. There was another panel that kind of threw me off, Brian, and I almost forgot about that until I read it right now. Okay. We had that panel, where it didn't show what happened earlier. Right. And then this one, just the way it's laid out, when
yeah. Yeah.
Just the way it was laid out. I mean, it says it's in Copenhagen, so you know it's not Wade, but it seems like Wade's or not Wade. I'm sorry, Cliff. Cliff is. It's like Cliff telling something he did, but you know it's not him because that's not what happened. That's why that will throw you off a little bit too if you're not paying a lot of attention. But Betty's excited about the race. She's going to go with him to Paris, and she's wondering what kind of fashions are in style. And this is how you know it probably wasn't a dream, because the rocket got fixed, and he talks about it getting fixed.
It could be a long dream.
After he got shot. Yeah. And then there's going to be another issue. And this is the cool part I did not get to read yet. It's the Dave Stevens, An Oral History of the Rocketeer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
And it's
interesting.
There's like 6 pages there, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. The book I really liked, because I do like that old era stuff, and I saw Ace Body say it was 1938 is when the Rocketeer takes place, so that's cool.
Thank you, Ace Bonnie. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I knew there was Nazis around there somewhere.
Yeah.
But, he's going to try to give up, I guess like almost every superhero does at one point, give up being the superhero for the girl, but he's still going to be the superhero because he's going to take the suit with him to Paris and get in this race, and he's going to need that for something, obviously. I will give this the highest score as Brian would, but I would give it a solid 8. I give it a solid 8.
Wow, that's 2 8s in a row.
This is nice.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
It's a good read. It's a good fun read. I mean, it was a good fun read.
Well, that's the thing. The Rocketeer is fun. Like,
it's supposed to be fun.
He's
yes.
fun action adventure. Like, yeah, he's not.
I wish Dave was still alive to draw the book, of course. But
yeah,
yeah.
Or Adam Hughes would have done great on that.
Yeah, and with no fixed schedule, we could probably have Adam Hughes on.
Yeah,
yeah, because he did a Betty and Veronica 3-parter about 3-4 years ago for Archie, and that was gorgeous. That was really nice stuff. It was worth waiting for. But I do remember the last issue being a bit late. But yeah, I have to say that I feel you on missing Dave on that, because I remember reading some of the earlier Rocketeer pastiches, and I'm looking at Neil Adams going, well, this is nice, but this is Neil Adams, for the love of God.
Yeah. Dave had he had a great style, a very smooth style about his artwork, and I always loved it.
Yeah, very fluid and his characters, just that sweet borderline between cartoony and ultra realistic.
Yeah.
Great layouts. Yeah, great storyteller. Definitely missed. So, thank you, Eric.
You're very welcome.
Sir.
Yeah.
All right. So, Brian, would you like to go next?
I would love to.
I'm sure you would. Let me give you the full screen here. Oh, wait a second. Let me get the comments here. So that Eric can reply to them. Let's see. No, we got a good one here. Nick Tucker says Eric needs a skeletal glove to match his skeletal horse.
Ah.
I'll tell you what. I backed a Kickstarter a couple months ago. The files should be about ready, and what made me back this was the 3D files, and there's skeletal horses in it, and I can't wait to print it.
We can hardly wait for the glorious results of that.
Yeah.
Sarah says, probably a good thing I was busy when Midgard Comics was open for a whole 2 hours. Wow. Hope they're not putting themselves out too much. And Lizzie says, those are some great panels. Yes, indeed. And again, thank you very much, Ace Bonnie, for the fact check there. And got his rocket shot off, says Sarah about the Eric Hawkins. And she's got to run for now, but I love you guys. Sarah, we love you too. Mwah. Thank you for being here, sweetheart.
See ya.
And we're back to Hollywood Square, says Ace Bonnie. That's right. I'm probably going to wind up being the Paul Lynn. Anyway, we have got the I guess you'd be maybe the Charlie Weaver here, which dates me incredibly, because he's funny as hell. And so is Brian Rodman, as he's got a book for our enjoyment. What have you, my friend?
I have a very special book for you wonderful people. As you know, I love monsters. Wearing my mummy shirt today, and I gotta say, this issue, hold on, my cat Luna, baby, sweet baby child, get out of there. There we go. Hi. So no, This book was on Indiegogo, and it was created by a friend of mine named Dave Schwartz. He's done a couple books for Alterna Comics, and he decided to break away from publishers and put out his own book, self-published, and he has been working on Confederate Monster for a very, very long time, and he put out all 3 issues at once, and they all came in together. And I got to tell you, this is fantastic. But before we get into how much I love it, everything was done by Dave. He colored it, lettered it, inked everything. And it is a very cool, interesting take on Frankenstein. And this is why with Brian, with Santa Stein and how much you love Mary Shelley's novel, really think you'd like this book a lot.
Sounds good.
So when we open it up, first of all, the logo, just so well done. I love that font. It kind of just harkens back, the monster font right here just harkens back to the EC Comics stuff. And you see, some very diplomatic people in costume, and then their monster forms, or what could be their monster forms, is kind of blurred with their image. We open it up, it's the middle of Civil War, and immediately you're in the action. Some close-up shots of guns going off, and avert your eyes if you don't enjoy violence. Just a soldier being blown to bits.
Oh boy.
And I like the take on this, because it doesn't necessarily like talk about the different sides of the war in this beginning narration. It talks about how painful and awful the Civil War was for just everyday people. And through this, it's talking about the injuries, how lives have changed because of the war. We follow this particular guy right here at the beginning, as he gets his leg blown off by a cannon, and he wakes up in the hospital and has, no leg, and they take him to a surgeon who we find out is the narrator.
Can you show that page again, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there no borders around the speech bubbles?
No.
Yeah. I like when people could do that. I can't pull it off, but I like.
Yeah,
sometimes
I
people
like
can
it
pull
too.
it off, and it looks good there.
Yeah, it works really well here. It's consistent throughout the whole book as well.
Cool.
But and Eric, you'll like the sound effects.
Yeah,
The boom is incorporated with the artwork there. But this guy wakes up in a makeshift hospital, and they carry him to a surgeon whose name is Daniel Schmidt. And we see he specializes in this is him right here. And this guy is the guy who had his leg blown off, and he's walking in on crutches. And Daniel Schmidt is telling him about this breakthrough in surgery, science, and medical procedures. It is prosthetics. And Daniel has dedicated his life to at this point helping soldiers who have been maimed from war, walk again and look somewhat normal again. There's a few pictures that you see in these panels. He has pictures throughout his entire office of his people that he's helped, and there's people with face prosthetics and different things like that. It's you get introduced to him. He's a really good guy. Dr. Daniel Schmidt then goes home. You see him interact with his wife. They have a very, very good relationship. He's, they're very flirtatious towards each other. You can tell they love each other, and they're getting ready for this costume ball that they are hosting at their house. Love this 2-page spread. Love the angle.
That's nice.
Dave just did a great job with kind of just being like a fly on the wall. And on one side, you have Daniel Daniel and his wife schmoozing with their guests and just telling jokes, and people are fawning over his success of being a surgeon. And then over here, we have some Confederate generals who are not a huge fan of Daniel. And through their conversation at this party, you begin to see, this is a better close-up of them. The three of them are looking for someone. They talk about their target, and Daniel meets the description of their target. And they all go home after the party. The party's over, and Daniel is in his room alone. All the guests have left, and he just poured himself a glass of an adult beverage, as one does. And we find out that Daniel absolutely hates this group of people that he is with, because he is not a Confederate. He is very much against slavery. He is very much against this war. He is very much against he's against the Confederate stance on the war. And he hates that he has to help these soldiers who are fighting for such a bad cause and for an awful thing. And he and his wife are discussing this. And in the middle of their discussion, some bandits break in, which they have some really, really freaking cool masks. And they fight, and the bandits get the upper hand, and they take his wife. And they, the next day, the authorities come in. They question Daniel. They try to help him. They tell him everything's going to be okay. Of course, all the things you should say. And then that night, a note is left underneath Daniel's door, and it's accompanied with something else. His wife's finger.
Ooh.
And it's saying, the instructions that Daniel is given is to meet this group at this specific time in this specific place. And so he jumps on his horse and goes to meet them. And he does. And I'm not going to spoil exactly how it ends, but I am going to spoil this because I think it's going to entice you to get the book. What you would think is Daniel Schmidt being a target, a surgeon, you're thinking he's Victor Frankenstein throughout the entire book. He's not. He's Igor.
Ooh. Nice twist.
Yes, but that's not the biggest twist of the book. And I'm not going to give that away. However, I am going to show you the flashback scene to Frankenstein's monster because he's freaking awesome looking.
Oh, cool.
And this is when the experiment, Daniel talks about, who he used to be and how Victor Frankenstein healed his physical deformities, made him his assistant. And then after the Frankenstein monster debacle happened, he left.
It's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. He's Igor. Damn your eyes. Too late. But this book is fantastic. This is issue 1 of 3. All 3 issues are available on ConfederateMonster.com. You can also get it on Indiegogo still.
Nice.
So yeah. And I definitely, oh gosh, the colors in this book, the panel work, the layouts, spectacular. 10 out of 10. Dave Schwartz knocked it out of the park. Go get this book. It's so good.
Fantastic.
And that's my review.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian.
Right.
That does sound good. Look good too.
Oh, it looks great. It
Great
is
layouts.
a fantastic story.
Fantastic. Well, Frog G says he's got that book. Good book. Frog G likes it too. That's excellent. And
Yeah.
Donna Carleen says, Carl, take notes for tomorrow in favor of cat management. And Carl mocks her with the laughter. That's a dangerous thing to do. And Lizzie says, Rodman, you missed the chance to use what's in the box.
What's
before
in the
revealing
box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Oh, so
Break a box.
Well, we'll try not to miss any more opportunities. And now, speaking of monsters, Joe D. McFee is. I thought you were doing
There
a
he
Claude
is.
Rains imitation or something. There. Oh, nice.
That's what I'm doing.
That's sweet. And
As far as what I've been doing as of late, as far as like daily accountability, just to
right, that's right. You
get my
mentioned that last week.
art skills and everything back into order as a whole here. And this is, like I said, this is the stuff that I've been showing like Nina and Daphne.
Yeah.
Directly. As far as like, hey, I've been trying to keep up and I'm trying to get my foreshortening better.
Yeah, that's a handy talent. I mean, people like Neil Adams and Jack Kirby use that to great effect. So yeah, very cool. And speaking of Nita and Daphne, check out last Monday's Ragin' 2 from Monday. I was on that show, and chances are those women will never be the same again. Anyway, Donna says that sounds like a cool book. Brian Rodman, is it a one and done? No, it's a three-part.
Yes, as far as I know, it is a 3-part miniseries. And
right.
then I think that it's done after that. Yeah.
Right. And
So
so
he also
did.
Sorry, Brian. He also did a great book from Alterna Comics that I might actually review that next week. And it is about Tesla. And I think it's Tesla and Einstein team up, and it's a science fiction journey, like a science fiction space journey. It's really fun.
I'm on board.
Yeah. So I'll bring that up next week.
Yeah, thank you. That sounds good. So very good there, very good, and thank you very much. Now, before we go into my review, Joe, would you like? Now, polls are still open. Joe, you want to remind everybody what their choices are?
There is a clear winner for this week.
Okay. Okay, so but 1, 2, or 3, you don't need to know what they are. Anyway.
That's what you was asking? What they were again?
Yeah, one more reminder before I launch into mine, and then you can unveil the winner.
Okay, number 1 was Lady Mechanica. Number 3, this is part of the Monsters and Ministry of Hell series. Then we have Carriers number 3 as number 2. And then the third one is Ant number 3, also featuring Spawn. All
right. Excellent. Thank you, Joe. And we'll let you get back to your art while I deliver the next phase of the reviewage here. So, this is actually a decent week for me. I don't get a whole lot, and I actually only had one comic on reserve for me, and it was the next to last issue of Worlds of Krypton. Still think the artwork by Michael Avon Hemming, it's good, but it's just like I'm so used to slick art. The layouts are beautiful, marvelously done and colored. Fewer of the Photoshop filters that they've been using beforehand. But they have there's kind of a cool surprise when Jor-El confronts Zod, which you know is going to happen. And in this issue, Zod is trying to enforce rule on Krypton under his Iron Fist, which is another book and trademarked. But also Jor-El approaches him as only an L could. And meanwhile, Laura finds out that the planet Krypton is too far gone. It cannot be saved now. But one thing I really liked was the fact that Zor-El, who was Jor-El's brother and the father of Kara Zor-El, Supergirl, he makes mention of a survival zone, which is something we haven't heard a lot about since 1986. Now, in the old Mort Weisinger Supergirl comics, the survival zone was kind of like a next door neighbor to the Phantom Zone without so much of the nightmare fuel effects. And that's where the people of Argo City went when the meteor started piercing the lead lining of their city as it was thrown into space. So it was good to see that little shout out to the past. But the story is really, really good. I'm really enjoying the story, even if I have reservations about the art. I'm giving this a solid 9. My final score on the overall series, once issue 6 comes out, it's probably going to go higher. But I definitely enjoyed it. It was worth getting. And then one I got because I've been getting it on Comixology, or as they call it now, Amazon. I got the 3rd issue of Monkey Prince. And in this one, the Monkey Prince.
You're going a different way with the monkey.
I did too.
Well, you say monkey meat. Oh,
well, it's not that kind of book, Eric.
Nope.
No, I didn't see any monkey meat there. But anyway, we do see why the Monkey Prince gets a mask, and there's a lot of good humor as he starts to bond with Robin, which is kind of dangerous. And it's just this book just makes you smile. This book is just so much fun. That and I know it has physical copies too. I just chose for my own reasons to get the digital copy, and I'm giving it it's a solid 10. It is so very entertaining. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be, at least at this point, not an ongoing series. And like Eric said, I also got the Rocketeer #1 from IDW, The Great Race. A lot of great stuff. Some of the pages did look like Dave Stevens did lay them out, although it looked kind of like Brent Anderson inking on it. But that is it's story and art by Stephen Mooney. And except for a very abrupt transition from the montage that Eric showed you earlier. See, that'd be what, page 5, 6, 7, and then we go, into there. It's a very abrupt flashback, and I'm hoping it doesn't turn out to be a dream. It's a perfect setup for a dream sequence, and I'm sick and tired of them. But otherwise, if it's not a dream sequence, I'm giving this a 9.5. Like Eric did. It was definitely a fun read. Definitely worth picking up. You will enjoy it. And speaking of something really cool, we got the Archie's Anniversary Spectacular. And what this is the 55th anniversary of the introduction of the Archies. I didn't realize they'd been around that long. And we start out with if you like G.I. Joe 22, it's a story by Tom DeFalco, former editor-in-chief at Marvel, Jeff Schultz and Jim Amish, buddy of mine, and it's all emojis and punctuation. There's no dialogue. And it's cute as heck. But what it also does is it reprints the very first edition of the Archies, the very first appearance of them from back in 1967. And then it segues into 2 really cool stories. Now, what people may not realize is that the Archies, of course, was a made-up group. It was primarily a vocalist named Ron Dante, who's done some work with Barry Manilow and stuff. And if you ever hear the Cufflinks, Tracy, they're kind of like a one-hit wonder from 1970. That was Ron Dante, gorgeous voice. And the Archies had the #1 single of the 1960s called Sugar Sugar. But anyway, it has the very first appearance of the Archies. This episode is more like the Monkees than anything. But what's really fun about that premiere episode is they follow it up with an appearance by the man with the golden ear, Don Kirshner. That's the black-haired gentleman in the red turtleneck. And he had been he worked in what was called the Brill Building. And he had people working for him, people you'd never heard of, like Neil Diamond, Carole King, Neil Sedaka. And they all wrote songs, and Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart. Well, anyway, he was put in charge of the Monkees and was making the music for the Monkees. And Glenn Campbell was one of their guitarists, okay? Part of the Wrecking Crew group. Well, anyway, the 4 actors and musicians, they wanted to play their own music. And there was, after a second album with the Monkees came out, one that they had no choice in what was on it. They cornered Kirshner, and Kirshner said, well, I've got this one song. We're going to record it next week, and it will be a hit for you guys. I'm sure of it. Well, an argument ensued, and it ended with Mike Nesmith, their guitarist, putting his fist through a wall and saying, that could have been, right next to Kirshner, saying, that could have been your face, mother. Okay? So Kirshner just quit on the spot with the Monkees and got a group of anonymous musicians who wouldn't be asking for things like that, and gave them Sugar Sugar, which outsold every Monkey song ever done. But anyway, one story features Mr. Hiram Lodge being forced to take the Archies to Don Kirshner for his review. The second one, the last story in here, is where the Archies meet the Filmation crew. Filmation were the animators of the Archies cartoons. Okay? Also Masters of the Universe, a whole bunch of great shows. Superman, Aquaman Hour, things like that. It's a cute book. And this is a fun book that you know, if you have any younger readers in the house, definitely get it for them. But there's a lot here you'll enjoy too. Some good dumb fun and a great flashback to the 60s and 70s. Definitely a 10 out of 10 on this one. But that's not the one I want to review. I've been looking at the AWA Upshot series that have come out, and they've looked really good. They've had some really good talent. Bill Jemas, who's the former publisher at Marvel, one of the most contentious years at Marvel, the guy who brought them out of bankruptcy, is the editor and one of the like a publishing consultant or something. And Axel Alonso, who's the former editor in chief at Marvel, they're running this whole line, and I'm reviewing the Joneses, and don't even try to keep up with them. It's a 5-issue limited series by writer Michael Morisi and artist Alessandro Vitti. I've Sforzina as the colorist, and Sal Cipriano is the letterer, with a Mike Deodato Jr. cover. Now you're thinking Fantastic Four. You're not half wrong. What has happened in the wake of a global pandemic, how prescient of them, that's been out for a while. That book's been out for a while. But anyway, one of the results are people have been getting powers. And let's see what they call them. What do they call them? Reborns. Because they're reborn with special powers. Well, this one family, dad has develops like monstrous chitinous exoskeleton armor. The daughter is a super speedster who likes to kick guys in the testicles as hard as she can. Always a good time with that. And the son is a teleporter, while mom has this explosive energy inside her that's getting harder to control. But what the beauty of this book is, they're dealing with these powers, trying to keep them secret. And meanwhile, the family is being torn apart by, and see, boom, big boom, being torn apart by internal pressures, not all of which are caused by having these powers. And they're going to meetings where the neighborhood is basically saying, we've got to do something in case these reborns fall into our neighborhood, and they're already there. And they got sound effects. That's for you, Eric.
Ooh.
And great fight scenes, and ads for other things. And as you can see, mom's having a real bad time there with her powers, but the son takes them home. That's what that little thing in the last panel is there. The art is solid. Great coloring, and see, there's the boom moment, and that's the second one she has in this book. And this is just a wonderful book. It is well written, well drawn. The characters are relatable, and it's, like I said, it's easy to compare this. Think of this as like a upper middle class version of the Fantastic Four, but it's also very much more relatable. as they have very human reactions to things. And this one is a definite 10 out of 10. If you're looking for something really different in the superhero line, then pick up this book with some very reluctant superheroes who are operating in secret and don't try to keep up with the Joneses. And that is my review for tonight.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you. And bless those monkeys, says Carl Witzman. Definitely, definitely. Well, and for those who I have said in the past, my morning show, Never Mind the Furthermore, is from a monkey song, or two of them actually. No Time and Zilch. But it was originally in the play Oklahoma.
When they released that second album, the first album was still number 1, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And they were so upset because they are actually musicians.
Yeah.
And the producers didn't really want them to do their own stuff, and the original stuff, definitely.
Exactly. And they just, Don Kirshner just wanted to grind this stuff out as fast as he could.
Yeah.
And in fact, he did so much stuff. There was only, I think, with all 4 monkeys, because there are 2 albums with less than a full set of monkeys on them. Of all the ones with the 4 original monkeys, I think it was only 1 album that has no involvement with Kirshner whatsoever. But he recorded so much stuff that they had extra to work with later. But yeah, you're right, Eric. Nesmith and Torque could sing and play a multitude of instruments.
Yeah.
Mickey Dolenz was a guitarist. He had a garage band, and he learned how to play drums. And it turned out that Davey was actually the better drummer of all 4 of them. They kind of like tested out to see who was best with what. And Davey was the best drummer, but he was short, and they thought he would disappear behind the drum kit. But he was a good percussionist, actually. So anyway, that's more about the monkeys than you care to know. But
honestly, where I was introduced to the monkeys, Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
They were on the first couple seasons multiple times.
That's true. That's
because
true.
I believe one of them was Topanga's dad.
I thought you said Wayne's World.
No,
Wayne's
World.
But that's not what I was thinking. Because again, my 2 dads came way before Boy Meets World.
Oh well, I didn't. But I'm just saying what I know him from.
Right.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting you're much younger than I am too.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and I remember watching them on the original on NBC on Monday nights. That was so. I always loved that show. Even the weird stuff was really entertaining. So, and if you ever see the movie Head with them, it's just what you think. It's actually a fun film, very disjointed, but the music is amazing. The music is fantastic.
I'm still thinking about the other the kind of like the documentary, the Daydream Believer documentary type deal.
Yeah. I've got a lot of good memories about the monkeys. They are.
I always like the monkeys. I mean, even though like a lot of stuff I watched as a kid, I never knew it was in syndication. I didn't even know what syndication was. I didn't know Speed Racer was a whole decade before.
Right? Yeah.
Or even the Bugs Bunnies that were coming out were from the 40s.
Yeah, we had no clue back then what these treasures were about. So but all very talented and also Donna Carlene says Davey had his own singing career in England. That's true.
Right, he was a stage actor.
That's right. In fact, he was on the episode of Ed Sullivan the night that he premiered the Beatles. Davey was with the touring group from London of Oliver, where Davey played the Artful Dodger, and he was wonderful. In fact, he had released an album before the Monkees were formed. And Mike Nesmith had a single, and he was starting to get some national exposure for it, but under the name Michael Blessing. And Donna says, I have the album to prove it. Yay. Good stuff.
There's only one left, isn't there?
It's Mickey.
Mickey, yeah.
Mickey's still around.
Yeah, because Mike passed away, last year, I think it was? A year ago? Yeah. Oh, and I always liked him. He was the reason for a number of years I parted my hair like this way, because he did too, and I thought he was cool. So So anyway, as we wallow in nostalgia here, let's get back to the reviews. And of course, here he is, this week's golden standard. Give you all the props we can, Joe. And here he is. And who won the polling?
Oh, we're going to talk about that because this is the book that I kind of warned everybody is like the one that if you paid attention and been following us for weeks, this was the book that I was afraid that people was going to pick because there's a lot of things to cover about this, and that is Carrier's number 3.
Throw it.
That was the one that
rip it up.
No, I'm not going to rip it up. I'm not going to rip it up because there's good and bad.
Run the bad parts through a shredder.
Well, yeah, the bad parts would be just like this one issue, but I will get into that here
Go
a
for
little
it.
bit later. So, if you've been keeping up, and if you haven't, go back and watch this show. We covered the first 2 issues right here on this show here. Issue number 3 takes place shortly after issue number 2, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But the main thing that I want to bring out here is that for those that don't know, there were actually 2 alternate covers. First and foremost here, like I said, we got to cover, the Clyde spread here. So there were 2 alternate covers. You had this one here, which I believe is the better one of the 2. And then you have this one here when they're actually in the storm and everything. I'll explain what was going on with the issue and the whole thing with the storm in a few more moments here. But the major thing before we begin here is that there is one thing that can make or break a series. And if it is done correctly, everything moves on and people will not notice. But if it's done incorrectly, it could turn people completely off to a series. And that is when there is a dramatic change in the artwork, where you have a different creative team on a book. With that being said, Carrier's number 3 had that happen. Now, I broke out issues 1 and 2 before I could show you what I'm talking about here. So going back to issue number 1, this is where we actually start out as. And you can see that the art style is well fleshed out, well thought out, defined and everything. I mean, it is, nicely rendered and everything. Within issue number 2, dealing with the pirates and everything, which I thought was done very excellently for what they did here. And even then, you could tell that it was a slight change in art style, but it didn't affect the overall as far as the storytelling is concerned. So, this is like one of those things that I look at when I think about DC and the rotating talent schedule that they have with their books. Those type of things can make or break a series. So with showing you guys that, let's get into issue number 3. Now, issue number 3 was created by Ben Ferrari and Erica Halfland. This story was actually done by Johnny Arnold, penciled by Kurt Belcher, and inks by Kevin Leverett, and colors by Seb Valencia here. Now, this book starts off, not too many days after issue number 2, and there's a hurricane that's coming into New York here. And the first thing that I noticed as soon as I opened up to the first page was the artwork and how it wasn't not as clear and fleshed out like it's supposed to be. And at first it took me aback. I was like, let me go back to the other issues. Like maybe I was mistaken as far as how the art was here. So we have, 2 rats up here, they were robbing a jewelry store and in the middle of this hurricane, and there's flooding and everything. They get caught up in the flood and whatnot. They're getting swept away, and lo and behold, here is Glacius and like, oh yeah, that's Glacius and Cherry Bomb together. You can tell by this page right here that I'm on the wrong side. That this one is Cherry Bomb. I can't really tell because, like I said, it's not very well rendered. So you have Glacius and Cherry Bomb saving the rats and everything, helping them out and everything, because why they're the heroes of the city as of right now. You know, this group of 4 pigeons, you know, they look at themselves as heroes. So they got the rats out, they got them to safety and everything, and you know, they fly off to save whoever else is caught up in the storm here. So, you know, back, they say about like an hour later, they're back at like their headquarters and whatnot. And, you know, they're up here talking to Dark Dove and Fable about what has transpired. And it was up here, you know, saying that there was no problem. And then, you know, how Fable is being the staunch, hey, you know, this is what happened back in my day, kind of keeping everything, you know, above board as far as keeping the team together and keeping them focused on what the bigger task at hand. You know, they decide to go back out on patrol to try to save, you know, as many people from the wrath of what could, you know, become of this hurricane that's coming through New York City. So they're flying through the city and whatnot, and next thing you know, Cherry Bomb gets hit by a stray piece of paper that was floating in the wind and whatnot. She got taken down and whatnot. She crashed, and she happened to run into one of the rats, and one of the rats was up here, you know, pretty much giving her kind of like the 411 about something that was supposed to go down and how they probably need a little help a little bit later. So, you know, she didn't think too much of it and everything. And, you know, the rats was up here, you know, saying it's like, hey, but we got some of your own kind here. Can you at least help them out, you know, help the fellow birds out? So she takes off, and then she noticed that, you know, they was telling the truth. So she goes back, you know, and everything, kind of tells, you know, kind of like in deep thought about what was going on. Meanwhile, Glacius is, you know, around, and he finds some more birds, and it's like, hey, what can we do? It's like, what, you know, it's like, hey, you guys got to get out of here. You know, the storm is coming, this, that, and the other. And they were saying, hey, we can't leave our kids. What we going to do? How it's like, we can't just leave them out here to just die and whatnot. So they're trying to figure out what can be done. He decides to, he takes one, and the father takes one, and they fly back to what they thought was the coop until he saw where one of the rats were, from where Cherry Bomb left them. So he goes after the rat, you know, thinking that he was up to no good, but he pretty much told him the truth and this, that, and the other. And then as Glacius comes back out, he spots that Fable was in combat with all these crows over, you know, protecting the other birds and whatnot. So they get into like this major fight with the crows and everything, and this is where Glacius, you know, has that pivotal moment of clarity and seeing Fable for what he was. He's like, Glacius always wanted to be a hero, and he's seeing the guy that he always looked up to doing this to his own in the middle of combat. And he was up here, it's like, but we're heroes, we're supposed to save everybody, we're not supposed to treat people differently and this, that, and the other. So he flies off and everything. You know, he goes back to where he left the rats and everything that he saw before, and he comes back and he saves them. And then, you know, he reports back after he saves the rats, and he was like, well, Dark Dove, give us a full report and everything. Dark Dove gives him the full report and whatnot. And pretty much the next day comes, and the caretaker of them sees that there was a lot more pigeons that's there, but yet everybody everyone that he recognized was still there and nice, intact, and whatnot, and that ends the issue here. But as you can see with the artwork itself, that dramatic change of artwork where it was not fully rendered, it makes it kind of harder to understand who was who and what was really going on, because it took a more darker tone here. And it made the story that they was trying to tell about Glacius that much harder to recognize here because of how he looked up to Fable. And seeing Fable in that moment, you know, defending the other birds against the crows, he came to that moment of clarity. It's like he got to do that for everybody, even against his own. Because remember, he's been in this mentality that they only do it for their own, and that, you know, not everybody is worthwhile. But even there's times that you have to even stand up against your own, and then that's when he came to that clarity and went back to save those rats that he came across earlier. But because of the way that the art style was, especially after, you know, seeing this artwork and previously having something like this, it throws you kind of off, because here I could clearly see, you know, that's Dark Dove, that, you know, that's Dark Dove, that's Fable. You know, I didn't have to take a double take to know who's who, as opposed to in here where, you know, things are drawn and rendered a lot darker. You know, it was kind of hard, you know, at a distance to know that that was Cherry Bomb. And even when they did Dark Dove was a lot darker in this issue than he was in any other issue. See, that's Dark Dove. He is not that dark in any other issue but this one. So it took a very different change for this issue. And for some people, it would throw a lot of people off, and it would throw them where it's like, I don't like this anymore. I'm not going to get it, because the art changed dramatically. The story that was being told was good. However, that one slight art change to the more darker tones, the not so rendered, the more, you know, not as aesthetically pleasing aspect of artwork brought the overall quality of this issue down. With that being stated, I give this issue of Carriers number 3 a 7 out of 10. It could have been a 9 out of 10 if the artwork was consistent with issue 2. Heck, even with issue number 1, if it would stay somewhat consistent. And even from issue number 1 to issue number 2, the artwork changed, but it didn't change so dramatically where it became more of a darker look as far as the whole city. Granted, they're trying to render everything that is in the middle of a actual weather storm, but fully not rendered graphics, you know, like even, you know, the way that the rats and stuff look, it were completely different. You know, it was just something that kind of just throws you for a loop when you first look at it. Not a lot of people, especially art snobs, a lot of art snobs would look at this and be like, you know, what the heck? Or as Brian would use the F-bomb at this point, they would be like, what the squeaky squeak. But overall, yeah, thank you. But overall, it's not a bad issue. It's just that it's going to be hard to digest because of the artwork. And because of that, that's the reason why it gets the score 7 out of 10. Mm-hmm. And that's the end of that review for Carriers. Now, my everybody, issue 4 is coming in the mail as of right now. So yes, I am continuing on with this series. We only got 2 more issues in this first run of Carriers, in this first season of Carriers. So issue 4 is coming out. It actually came out. I just waiting for it to get it in the mail.
Okay, excellent, very, very cool.
So
And
it's not. Whoa, where's Brian?
Brian, he was so excited about Eric's premiere of issue 4 of the Zombieful World of Oz that he couldn't take it any longer.
He went to bed to set his alarm so he can get up in time.
I think so. Yeah.
I gotta say about Joe's review, every time he said cherry bomb, I wanted to go cherry bomb.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's like they just named the characters in such a way where it makes you want to have like little bitty nicknames and things like that to endear you to their characters. It's just that issue 3, the change in the artwork just threw everything off.
Yeah. Now, did they keep the same colorist?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I did see like I thought I detected like a little bit of a difference with that too. So
let me check. I'm looking at issue number 2. No, there was a different colorist on issue number 2. Let me check issue number 1.
There we go.
So again, they're following the DC Comics rotating creative staff, which is not always a great thing.
Right. Welcome back, Brian.
Yeah, sorry, my internet went, and so now it's back up and running. I don't know what happened.
Cool. I assume
Okay.
Luna fixed it.
Yeah, Luna.
Okay, let me double check that because I think what ended up happening, the colorist that was on issue number 1 was the same colorist that was in issue 3.
Ah, okay.
Let me see.
Well, anyway, Cindy Kep says, "Bummer. Birds should be drawn properly." And this
She
woman,
would know.
She would definitely know.
Yep,
Good.
the same colorist that did issue number 1 colored issue number 3. So it really was the artwork that really did this one in.
Who's got the eyes here? Who's got the eyes? And Carl Wisman says, "Interesting. Yeah, I've got to wonder if it's because of the storm. Yeah, there's a slight storm that's sweeping through the Midwest, like right now. It's like supposed to snow here in Lafayette for hours and hours and hours, and we're going to get maybe up to 1/10 of an inch. I haven't figured that out yet.
And why is Brian saying the forbidden S word?
I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. And yes, different colorist. Yes. And Molly Daniels, glad to see you. And clean bill of health at doctor appointment, just lurking. Excellent. Woo! That's what we like to hear. Good for you, Molly.
Good.
Hey,
Yeah.
Super. And that concludes the review section. Thank you.
Hopefully, I
gentlemen.
did okay for filling in for Mr. Clyde Hall. He
you did
more.
good.
You did a great job.
The more Dr. Jones lecture. And I'm
Very-
more like the Indiana Jones going into the Temple of Doom type deal.
Yes, give me the idol, Dr. Jones. And Cindy goes, "Yay, Molly." And Molly says, "Bite your tongue and keep it up there. We don't want that white stuff down here." I don't think you guys are supposed to get it. I think it's mostly a northern area. And hey, Molly says, "Donna Carlene." So yeah, that very cool. And well done. Well done, Joe. Well done, as always, and well done, all of you. So, anybody got anything you'd like to bring up for the class today?
I was hoping that Grant would have showed up because
he had a
Grant
question.
asked a great.
Oh,
Go
Earlier
ahead.
in the week about something, didn't it?
Yeah, Grant asked a question about should you always pay artists first?
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's,
Yes.
that's
And
it.
I
I
asked
will
him to
reserve
bring it
my
back here.
answer
Yeah.
till we get here, and he's not
Yeah.
here, so I'm not going to answer it.
I don't have an opinion. I do everything myself.
And I think the writer ought to get paid too, because I can't draw.
There you go.
Although I'm willing to take a back end deal, so to speak.
Hey now.
Well,
I know.
I mean, the artist needs the story before he can draw, usually, unless he's writing it himself.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
You can do
it's-
everything well, you know. So.
Well, yeah, when he asked that earlier, that was the first thing that went through my mind. I was like, well, I mean, the writer's got to give. If the writer's hiring an artist, he needs to give him the story
Right.
for him to draw. So,
Yeah. Well, you know.
I just
Go ahead.
wanted to attack the mentality that a lot of people have about artists being more important than writers. It's like, no, they're equally as important. It's the perfect
Absolutely.
marriage between art and writing, and people need to understand that.
Yeah.
And until creators and fans understand that, it's like your best comic books have always been when the perfect writer meshes up with the perfect artist for that story, and magic happens.
Exactly.
And a great example of the opposite is Spawn. I love Spawn.
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane is no writer. Like,
Yeah.
all I have to say, if you had like Denny O'Neil or Scott Snyder, Robert Kirkman, a really good writer on Spawn with Todd's artwork, chef's kiss. It'd have been the best comic in the world.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we had, and it's not bad. It's not bad by any means. My goodness, I love Spawn. I have Spawn #1 signed like everybody else in the country. But like, but that's a great example of brilliant artwork, not so brilliant writing.
His Spider-Man #1 is perhaps one of the worst written comics I've ever read in my entire existence. Now, I think somebody edited him a little bit better. I think somebody let Todd have too much of his way. Neil Adams also is not the best writer in the world.
No,
his stuff is like
he shined with Denny O'Neil.
Yeah. When he worked with Denny O'Neil or Roy Thomas, they did a spectacular run of X-Men together. Or even Frank Robbins on some Batman stories and Bob Haney,
I hate to say something bad about Neil Adams, but he does write like he's an advertising agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
All his books have a flair of like it's advertising something as opposed to telling a story.
Yeah.
Well, he said in an interview with Kevin Smith, like he learned how to do all of that stuff as he was essentially a carnival barker.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that makes perfect sense as to why he would write like that.
Yeah, that's true. And at least somebody like Jack Kirby, who got dinged for his dialogue pretty much. I will say, if nothing else, and it's probably true of Neil too. A lot of us as writers are taught write like you speak.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever see like Kirby, especially hi Glenn, before you start saying anything. Hit this up on Indiegogo right now, and you'll hear Jack Kirby speak. But anyway, he speaks like you see in the comics and all the Fourth World stuff and the Captain America and all, which is in his case it's almost endearing because it's so quirky. But there's just some people that
Ben Grimm so impressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, every time I think about Ben Grimm, I see Kirby.
Yeah. Yeah. But and then again, like Brian said, you get the right, or you said too, like get the right pairing of people together, and they become more than the sum of their parts. I would also say like Roy Thomas and John Buscema on Conan, Chris Claremont with Dave Cochran, Paul Smith, or John Byrne on X-Men.
Hey man, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo.
Yes,
those guys are brilliant together in everything that they've done.
Or dare I say it, Mark Waid and Alex Ross.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good example. Great example, actually. Yeah, and there's just a whole bunch of people. This great synergy works when they get together, and there's some people who should get a stern editing. And I say that as someone who appreciates being edited well. So, it is in service of the work, not of my ego. So I say that.
I think that's what it comes down to is if you want your work to outshine you, you hire a good editor or a good writer. If that's a weakness of yours, you either hire somebody to help you do it better, or you hire somebody to do it for you.
Exactly. Exactly right.
I agree with what Cindy's saying there. So
yes, I was about to cue that up there. Cindy Kemp, CKOEPP.com says voicing different characters so they sound different can be tricky, but I try to assign the voices of folks I know. And I do something like that too. I cast the movie of my book in my head.
Yep, me too.
And that way, when I have somebody concrete in mind, the type of dialogue just kind of flows more naturally.
Well,
and they all get their own voice,
Yeah, just as an example, the nebulizer comic series, which Nebulizer #2 launching on Kickstarter in 2 weeks.
And no, he doesn't know when number 3 is coming out.
Next year.
Now we do.
Yeah, there you go. But for perfect example, when I think of Connor, the guy inside the Nebulizer suit is me. Yep. That's my voice. And the person,
I
and
thought you were going to say Connor McLeod, the Clown McLeod.
There could be only one. But the Albie, the AI that controls the suit, is this guy in my head. So and
he doesn't charge me a penny.
Right. The whole comic, I'm just writing dialogue between me and Brian as we insult each other. And it's a lot of fun. And it shines through in the comic because I'm having a blast writing it. Yeah, but I have those voices assigned to my head.
But it doesn't shine very well, especially in issue 1 after the incident that happened that he saw. And it's like Albie's response was more caring and loving.
Well,
that's totally beyond me, of course.
Brian, in my imagination, my imagination stretches so much to where Brian is caring and loving.
As if I had a human soul, for instance, which we all know better than that. So, thank you for that keen, that astute analysis of Albie's dialogue, Joe. Thank you.
I mean, you have to think about it. It's like Albie was like really giving it to him. Then we get the backstory. It's like, huh? Albie actually has actual compassion. Okay,
which we do touch on why.
This doesn't sound like Brian at all anymore.
Exactly.
Remember, folks, this is fiction.
Yeah,
so not autobiographical here.
That's true. And notice he only does it when no one's looking.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I don't want any damn witnesses.
It's like everybody else is gone. It's like, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah,
I will be your only friend for this point forward.
Yeah,
like what? It actually has compassion.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the minute somebody walks into the scene, you loser. Hey, you unbreathing loser, you. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's good.
And Molly Daniel says, Brian R. That's you. Are you coming to the LaGrange Author Fair on Saturday?
I am not. Saturday, we are celebrating my mom's birthday in Cincinnati. So that's what we'll be doing. Yeah, we'll be doing that. The next show I believe that we'll be doing is in West Virginia.
Wow.
We'll be at the same guy that puts on the Lexington show is putting on a show in West Virginia, and we'll be there for that. So
cool.
Yeah.
And we'll promote that next week. Yeah. And Cindy kept the idealized character's voice. Again, if I had a human soul and even a scintilla of compassion for any other living thing on this planet. Yeah. So, Brian's a master of weaving fictions. But anyway,
I just want you to like Brian more. That's all.
Yeah, and good. Yeah, and by Brian he means this one.
Oh no, this one.
No. Don't give him an impossible task. But anyway.
You're confused by the bromancing too, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. When you see us together, oh my God.
Oh, if you ever see us in person, the lust is flying in the wind.
It is.
It's a nasty, nasty, beautiful thing.
It is. It'll make you feel unclean.
Oh, you'll need at least 3 showers.
Oh yeah.
So,
I need a
and
shower
Brian
now.
and I will do them. Oh, I know. Anyway, and Cindy kept says Brian R needs more pizza. He's becoming all bones.
That's no one's ever said that to me before. Well, thank you, Cindy.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been called just skin and bones before. I've been called many things: Jabba the Hutt, Hagrid, Kirby when he's really fat. It's just a plethora of things.
Kirby, not
right.
And
Not Jack Kirby
and honey kisses. Oh wait, that's
Jabba the Hutt, huh?
Yeah, I lean into that one too. And then I do my best Jabba the Hutt impression.
I usually reserve
that's-
that one for Governor Pritzker.
As well you should. Yeah. Will Illinoisans ever be able to stop apologizing for their government? I ask you that.
No.
Not a chance.
Well, so far the last one didn't go to prison. This
No.
one
Yet.
probably not going.
Yeah,
Yes.
you still got some time. That's
Yeah.
true. We've only had like 3 governors in the last maybe 50 years that hasn't gone to prison. I know Jim Edgar was one.
Right.
Whoever was after both of them.
Ryan went to prison. George Ryan went to prison.
Well, George Ryan did. Yeah, that's right.
Blagojevich went to prison.
Right.
Bruce Rauner is not. So he was the first one that hasn't gone after being elected and replaced.
And Jim Edgar.
Edgar, but
Yeah,
Edgar
those two,
was way before because remember it was Edgar
Right, it was
then
way
Ryan.
before that. And then he had a couple of people before him, like Otto Kerner and Dan Walker.
My gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Jeez.
I'm serious. You
I'm
know,
surprised. This list, I'm surprised you didn't say Al Capone was a mayor. It's a governor at some point. Good grief.
he ran the state, but he never was
well,
elected
it's
office.
very
So
true, yeah.
it's the thing.
Considering that Richard's Daley father was considered the true president of the United States when he was mayor of Chicago, it was like
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's-
that's how corrupt a lot of stuff was back then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he pretty much swayed the 1960 election of John F. Kennedy, because I believe leading up to the count on the Chicago, pardon us as we get political for a moment here, this is history. I think Kennedy was behind by just the slightest amount, and then when they counted the Chicago precincts, all of a sudden Kennedy flew ahead in the numbers. So
Mhm.
Chicago.
yeah.
What a town. What a town.
That's right. That's right. Well, I can't say too much about the suburbs though, because next month over the weekend that Free Comic Book Day will be happening, will be the Windy City Pulp and Paper show, which is honoring pulp, new pulp writing, and I'm up for an award.
All right.
Yeah, for this Snow Ambition book here, my story in it. And let's just say I'm cautiously optimistic.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be nominated. The only award I have is
That's how a loser talks. You tell him you're happy to be winning.
That's
And
right.
then you go on stage and you slap Chris Rock. You do that.
I would do that thing. I would. And he can put my wife's name in his mouth. So there.
And
Nothing,
Donna got
honey.
it wrong.
Nothing, honey. We were having a Chris Rock moment.
Oh, did you get in trouble?
Usually.
Good man.
Yeah. Okay. She has averted her gaze. I live for another moment. Love you, honey.
Love you.
See, it's all good.
Yep. And Donna got it wrong.
Oh, did she?
Yes.
Let's see here. And vote early and vote often.
That's not what it is. Chicago. If you vote once, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. There we go. I like that better. Oh, that's
If you
funny.
vote once, you're doing it wrong.
That is funny. And still getting go right go. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Cindy. I saw that pun there. And this is the one time we can use the word snow. But anyway, thank you very much, Carl Witzman. Appreciate it as always. And please tune in tomorrow to Never Mind the Furthermore at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. Because Carl will be my host along my substitute host, but he'll do a better job. And he's going to have this wonderful man beside me as his co-host, celebrating the launch of the Zombieful World of Oz. And I'm
We might not even talk about it.
Yeah, right.
They might pull it up. It's like it's funded. No need to talk about it.
Yeah, really. Hi, this I like
You
this.
know,
That my
Run it
friend
on your
Eric.
back
Oh, Eric's
again.
done already.
In all seriousness, you joke, Brian. How many times did we do a Nevermind the Furthermore on a Friday, or a Clever Title Pending episode about my Kickstarter, and we never talked about it?
Yeah.
We would briefly mention it, and then we just have shenanigans the rest of the time.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, there is a fine line between getting to interview interesting people such as yourselves
And
and a freaking infomercial.
Right. Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
At one point, there's a difference between how people will accept you, whether you're trying to, just show what a wonderful, warm, enchanting human being you are, or you're trying to channel the spirit of Billy Mays. It's a real fine line there. So, but I know that it's going to be a fun show tomorrow with Eric and Carl, and I will be on the road. So sincerely, Eric, I wish you luck. What, Joe?
Thank you.
No, I'm watching what Donna is saying, and she's not too far from the truth on that.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay. We'll get down to that. That's awesome, says Wally. Thank you. And I can't say too much. When they closed Cabrini Green, guess where they were paid to go? Cabrini Green emptied out, and Danville got a bunch of them because we had the prison down there, and Champaign got a lot of them because we had a healthy economy. And she'll be there supporting the Eric, good girl, and heckling Carl, even better girl.
Yeah, Cabrini Green did get gentrified. And when they got gentrified, they moved. We originally thought they were just going to move them to the suburbs, but no, they moved them far south.
Yes, they did. They
said below I-80 you go.
That's right. Yeah, and start tapping the brakes when you get to 74. So yeah. And Cindy Kemp says, one of these days I'm going to have to catch some snow stories and write Snow Kidding when Abraham Snow inherits a goat farm that hides a devious secret. Cindy, I am deadly serious when I say talk. I love that. Talk to Bobby Nash. I'm not joking, Cindy. Do that thing. I'm serious, girl. Please. I will heckle you into doing that. I think it's a great idea. Seriously,
it is a great idea.
Bobby will dig it. Bobby's pretty flexible when it comes to screwing with his IPs. So I'm with his IPs.
Okay.
It's not code, but I'll tell you what is. Anyway,
is it?
Yeah. But anyway, so it sounds like we have reached a good time to draw this to a close, so that people can go see Stupid O'Clock in the next few minutes. Yeah, we'll get finished on time for once. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, let's start with. I'll have to get some snow books sooner. Definitely, Cindy. Definitely, come see me in Hannibal. I'll have one for you. But anyway, let's go around the room here. We'll start with Eric, then Joe, then Brian, then me, and Zombie Slayer Eric. Tell everyone where they can find you, and are you going to be? Clyde usually asks us, are you going to be on Drawn and Quarterly tonight?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
That was guarded.
Yeah.
So obviously next week we're going to do the Zombie World of Oz, because I would have already launched and we're going to do my book. This week we didn't have a creator, and we were chatting after the show last week, and we were joking about album covers and stuff. And I suggested, we should, Chester, you should pick some album covers and give it to each artist, assign one to, and we should reimagine those album covers. So he did, and he picked some weird stuff.
Even better.
And apparently mine is the single for Sexuality by Prince.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know. I guess I put pants on Prince in this one because he's got the little buttless pants on.
I'm loving this already.
I don't know what I'm going to do. But there was some other weird. I mean, there's some really weird stuff he picked out.
We should have a show like that, because you three are artists. I will assign you.
You had that one. Luckily, he didn't pick the Love Sexy album.
Oh, good point.
Oh, I don't know the cover of that one.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
Nope.
Wait till after the show before you Google it.
Yeah.
It will color your opinion. I was thinking if I were, we ought to have that here because you three are great artists, and I would participate. I'd assign myself the White Album by the Beatles, or
you
Back
gonna
in
make it
Black by
blue?
AC/DC.
Nice.
Well, you gonna make that one green?
Yeah, we'll make them all green. That's all there is to it. It's not easy being that, but I'm up for the challenge. So anyway, we will start with Eric. Eric, tell everybody how they can find you.
Hey, obviously you can find me after this show on Chester C. Busby's channel every Thursday night, drawing, or earlier every Thursday night. You can find me here. Tomorrow you can find me on this channel as well for Never Mind the Furthermore with a special guest host, Carl. And obviously tomorrow I'm launching my 4th issue of the Zombie World of Oz. It's a milestone. I've made it 4 issues. It's great. But we're hoping to fund early, and like Jennifer said earlier, so I'm not cranky all weekend. But you can find me on any social media, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Just look my name. You'll find me. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Eric, and Godspeed, Jennifer and Lissy. Anyway, and Joe D. McFee, how about you?
You can find me right there by that link tree here. And as I stated before, we're trying to get 200 people following our campaign that's going to happen in May. And just to give you kind of a taste of what you can expect here, we're going to have a tier where you could get custom sketch covers from me directly here. And when I say custom, I'm talking about brand new, freshly drawn, not the stuff that I'm holding in my hands, but I'm holding these, as an example of what you can get sketch cover wise on the campaign at the $200 tier. So
beautiful.
That's pretty much it. But as far as getting in contact with me, everything is right there on that link tree. Everything from how to watch from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher to all my social media contacts, including stuff from like DeviantArt and other places.
Most excellent. Thank you so much, Joe.
All
right. And Mr. Brian Rodman, tell everyone how to follow the adventure.
Other than hiding in my bushes, you can go to brianrodman.com. And from that point on, you can then venture off into the store. You can venture off into the social medias. You can venture to my Patreon page where we will be continuing the Princess Warriors, which I forgot to mention earlier. This weekend, I will actually be creating the new page with the Eads sisters, my nieces. They will be actively a part of writing this page, and I'm essentially, I really am writing the story based on the outline that they gave me. So they'll be more participating more into this next entry, which comes out on Monday on Patreon.com. Other than that, head right here to bit.ly/Mighthead and sign up for the Nebulizer 2 pre-launch page. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're launching on Friday, April 22nd. So tomorrow morning, show up hard, show up fast for Eric Hawkins. And then in 2 weeks, do the same for me, and I will love you a long time. Thanks for having me on the show tonight, Brian. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. Yes. Woo! Hallelujah. Yeah, I usually show up. Never mind, Brian. Anyway, we are too close to the rails. I couldn't take it any longer. Well, anyway, I'm Brian K. Morris, and I'm cheering these guys on because I think they are incredible talents and really good people. So please support them when they get their crowdfunding campaigns going. And thank you for being a part of the Adventure Syndicate. And Kansas, yes, had some fun covers. So did Meatloaf. And so did Molly Hatchet. Those great Frazetta covers. Loved it. And go, Eric. Go. Go, Eric. Go. And Rick Bradley, yes, good to see you, sir. It was good to see you last Saturday. Just in time to see everyone's goodbyes. And shouldn't it be rated I for immature? That would be us. We'll talk to that one.
Yes.
Yeah, the evidence is overwhelming. But anyway, folks, thank you for being here. And if you want to follow me and the things I do, go to risingtide.pub, where you can sign up for my free monthly newsletter. The next issue will be coming out May 1st. And we will have the results, we'll be leading into the Pulp Factory Awards, where I am nominated for the short story Snow Ambition, which you can find in this book here, available on Amazon. And this weekend, we are Friday and Saturday, the 8th and 9th of the month, we are going to have an appearance at Hannibal, Missouri at Big River Comic Con. Please check their event page on Facebook, and please come see us. We'll have the Batman books with us, along with snow shorts there. And we're having a sale on this one this weekend, so you buy all three, you get a break on the price. And also you get to see Cookie, and it'll be a whole lot of fun. So please come see us in Hannibal. And yes, you missed a music discussion on the Monkees and Don Kirshner and everything. So you gotta go back and watch the rest of the show. And Rick Bradley, you stay creative too, my friend. Good to have you here as always. And now let's get down to where we get to the attitude of gratitude and tell you, please follow us not only on our website but also on Patreon. Where you can get your name on this very card right here. You'll be glad you did, and so will we. Help us keep the rising tide moving, and a small, modest stipend helps so much. So please check us out at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. Also, please give our Facebook page a like for the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, and check out Stupid O'Clock on Next, just starting right now. And followed by with Dan Holofield's Last Man Standing, and then check out our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday offerings too, including From the Desk of the Small Press Publisher, 10 o'clock on Saturday nights. It's an awesome show. We like it a lot. And let's see. We also want to say we're brought to you by the Rising Tide Publishing Company. That's what I run. And also by Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. A great book deserves a great cover, and you can't do much greater than Jeffrey Hayes and Plasma Fire Graphics. Please check out their Facebook page, and then go to plasmafiregraphics.com and check out all their samples there, and check out their indie-friendly creator prices. You're going to dig it, and you'll love working with them. And you'll see the glorious results all over those pages. Plasma Fire Graphics will look at your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. And with that, we are going to get the heck out of here. And as always, folks, thank you for being here. We will see you next Thursday on another fresh episode live on Comic Book Spectrum. So as always, folks, stay smart, stay safe, wash your damn hands, and never apologize for being awesome. And please come see us in Hannibal this weekend at Big River Comic Con. We will see you next Thursday on Comic Book Spectrum. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you for watching Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Please join us next week for another look at comics, past, present, and future. If you enjoyed this, please give the show a like and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. To receive our free monthly newsletter, go to www.risingtide.pub and be sure to give the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page on Facebook a like in order to receive news about upcoming shows, including Clever Title Pending, Stupid O'Clock, Clever as Hail, Comics Chaos and Sass, Tidbits and Scribbles, the Historical Fencing Guild, and never mind the Furthermore. See you next week.
How dare you!